Okay, welcome everybody to our Europe on Sale event. Very excited, obviously, that we can start heading back overseas and seeing some of the incredible countries, obviously, that make up the European continent. We're going to take you through some of our favourites today as well. But before we do, we're just going to hear a quick message from one of our customers.
The first thing that really stuck in my mind was when we turned the corner to go into our hotel and I could see the pyramids from that point. I really don't know how to explain it. It was an absolute dream moment for me.
The inclusions probably was one of the primary deciding factors for us.
The wildlife there was incredible, and it's something that you don't really expect to see.
Customer service team, I found an inspiring location second to none. They are warm, welcoming, accommodating, and understand what I want out of travel.
Okay, some fantastic messages there from our customers, but also some incredible scenery, which we're going to have a look at the moment for some of the places that we're going to visit on these itineraries. Now, our first one is one of our customers' favourites. It's one of our favourites here as well. It's our 18-day inspiring Spain, Portugal and Morocco. This incredible trip begins up here in Barcelona. You've got 2 nights there to begin your trip before we head down the coast of Spain into Granada. We'll talk about that just in a moment. Incredible location. We're going to go across the Straits of Gibraltar, so we're actually going to catch a ferry across into Morocco. Head down the coast of Morocco. Casablanca is in there as well. Marrakesh, which is this amazing fusion of both that Middle Eastern and European influence. Heading across into Erfoud, right next to the Sahara Desert, before heading up to Fez. We're going to go back over the Straits, back into Spain, and then up into our third country, Portugal, where we're going to spend time both in Lisbon and Fatima before heading over and finishing the trip in Madrid. So let's have a look at some of the sights and incredible things you see as part of this journey. We're going to hear now from one of our guides who's actually on location in Marrakesh itself.
Hello everyone, I am Abdurrahim. I've been born and raised in southeast of Morocco. I've been living in Marrakesh for more than 9 years. I have been a tour guide for more than 7 years. And I still enjoy it every time I run a trip around my country. If you have ever been to Marrakesh, you would know where I am at the moment. But if not, this is the center of the old city called Jemaa el-Fna. Jemaa el-Fna, as we call it, is the heart of the city, is the heart of Marrakesh, where everything is happening at once. I hope I will be able to see some of you in my coming tours. Wherever you are, Morocco is waiting for you.
It absolutely is. We're going to look at Morocco in a moment. Fantastic country as part of this itinerary. Now, let's have a look at some of the places that you're going to go. We're going to begin in Spain. So we've left Barcelona. We're going to head down the coast. We're now in the Andalusia province. We're going to head to Granada, which is home to the Alhambra. You can see it there. Now, the Alhambra is this amazing location. Over the centuries, been ruled by different occupying forces. The Moors came across, obviously, and brought in that Arabic influence. Christianity sort of came down from Central Europe down into Spain and took over at a period in time as well. And what's left is this amazing location where you've got this fusion of different cultures, different histories throughout the course of the centuries, depending on who was occupying the Alhambra. Now, in Arabic, the Alhambra means red castle, and you can easily see why with the colorations in the stones there as well. What fascinates me is you get places like this. You've got this archway here You can see it's kind of adorned in the traditional Arabic style. You've got the pointed arches, very, very typical of lots of mosques, lots of important locations throughout the Middle East. But then right beside it, you've got this Christian influence as well. And so this place, depending on who was occupying it at the time, the rooms have been converted. What were once mosques at one point in time have been converted to churches, but you've still got remnants of all these different fusions of history in one place. Now, it's actually one of the most popular places in the world to visit. It's very, very tightly controlled in terms of the numbers that are allowed to go into the Alhambra. Pleased to say for all of our Inspiring Vacations groups, we have secured tickets, so no need to worry about not getting entry. That is taken care of for you as part of this trip. Okay, so we've left Spain. We're going to now head across the Straits of Gibraltar. We're going to head into Morocco. Now, Morocco for me has been one of my absolute favourite destinations over the course of my travels, and rightly so. It's an amazing location. You've got these incredible mixes of areas, of climates, of cultures. You've got the coastal region, which has beautiful beaches. You've got your inland cities like Marrakesh, which has this real strong European influence, but also you've got that North African feel as well. And then you've got these amazing arid desert locations as well. One of the highlights is Atit Benahadu. So this is actually an old fortified walled city and a very interesting one. It's one of the, I guess, rare locations in the world where Hollywood has had a very, very positive impact on this region. So this particular location has been home to some of the biggest films in history, most notably Lawrence of Arabia had portions of the film filmed here. Gladiator obviously had portions here as well, and more recently series like the Game of Thrones series. Now what that actually has brought in obviously is the funds to restore this location. It was left to ruin over the centuries, and with that, obviously with that Hollywood expenditure, the local government has been able to restore it to a great state of preservation, so much so that it's actually now a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's not occupied anymore, but you do actually go into the city itself. You can experience those incredible stone walls, the mud brick buildings as well, actually go in and see what city life would have been like in this location. You can see there it's sitting obviously on the backdrop of a desert behind. Now Morocco, as I said, it is this land of contrasts. You've come to locations like this, Todra Gorge. Todra Gorge is an oasis. It's an oasis like you and I would picture coming right out of something like Lawrence of Arabia as an example. And you can actually imagine yourself as an explorer coming out of the desert, looking for shade, looking for water, and stumbling upon this incredible oasis. It's lined with date palms. Cool waterways flow through the centre of it. You can kind of see where the water channel would be in there. And it is very, very agricultural these days, rich, fertile land. And this oasis is tucked down in the middle of this valley. An amazing place to stumble upon as you're coming out of that desert landscape. Now, continuing our Moroccan journey, we're now in Fez. Fez is this absolutely incredible historic Medina. And I guess if you were to picture what any trip to Morocco would be about, you would be probably picturing images of Fez. Now, Fez is very progressive. Lots of cities are trying to repeat now what Fez has been doing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and that is that the city is completely car-free. You can see why this is a very typical alleyway in Fez, and it is literally lined with almost like a maze-like mix of alleys. Now, your guide obviously is going to be your point man to take you through all these places and make sure that you can experience it as you weave your way through the alleyways, but you can literally picture somebody like Indiana Jones popping out of one of these alleyways at some point in time in one of the movies. It is an incredible place to visit. One notable location that you will see as part of the trip is the tanning pits. So the tanning pits over here on the left-hand side is a traditional way of tanning leather. It's been done like this for centuries. Now, if you are a little bit squeamish, it's probably not one for the faint-hearted. The way that they do tan the leather or soften it to begin the tanning process is they actually use cow urine to soften the leather itself. So these white pits over here is where that softening process takes place. Does mean that the area does have an interesting aroma, but they then bring the leather across to these incredible tanning pits where it's obviously given its coloration. Now you do stand in a vantage point like that, so you can look down to see the process, but what I do like about it is you can also see the final finished goods in the market surrounding. Now our third and final country is Portugal. Here we're going to spend time in Lisbon. Lisbon is this amazing metropolitan. It's got these incredible cobblestone streets. You've got amazing colorations on the neighbourhood buildings, and probably one of the richest food scenes anywhere in Europe, an incredible food culture in Lisbon. One of the notable locations is Belém Tower. Now, Belém Tower actually is an old fortification, so very, very advanced for its time. It was built over 500 years ago, and it's actually seen as a bit of a status icon, a bit of a cultural, significant location for the Portuguese, obviously during their time when they dominated the world. This was built as a defensive structure on the way into the river. As I said, very, very advanced. It actually allowed for this post and also the ones on the bank opposite to fire on any ships which were coming through the river, which protected the city. Now, the tower itself is a great location to visit. It was built during the Renaissance period. It actually has similar, I guess, architecture to what you might expect to see at Notre Dame. And you've got things like those gargoyle statues, but you can also see the gun emplacements still in place as they were 500 years ago. Now, if you do want to go on this trip, it is packed full of inclusions. What I love about this one is it's fully escorted. So you've got a guide with you from the start right to the very end. Now, we do use a guide in each of the countries, so a Spanish guide, a Moroccan guide, a Portuguese guide. And look, we are required to do that, but I think it gives this trip way more credibility. You're going to have that local expert who's a specialist in their own country showing you about, and then they're going to hand you on to their counterpart in Morocco as an example. 17 nights accommodation, you're not going to be roughing it. This particular one is 4 to 5 stars. All hotels are very, very well located, if not right in the centre of the city, close to public transportation, so you can experience the very best of what the city has to offer. A great balance of included sightseeing, so everything that we've just looked at, plus so much more. What I do really like about this one is it does have free time. So free time to go and explore places like Marrakesh, Medina as an example, on your own or with your guide. Your guide will be able to offer suggestions, but it's a great way to experience the culture for yourself by having that free time to explore. You've got your dedicated transportation, so a coach is going to be with you from start to finish, taking you through each of the countries themselves. And you've got your daily breakfast and 2 dinners there as well. Now, the event price, starting from $4,299 for this incredible 18-day trip. Our offer at the moment is amazing, 2-for-1 airfares. So 2 people go, you only pay for the cost of one of those airfares. You're saving about $1,600 per couple. And on top of that, we are going to give you an extra 5% discount. So that comes off that particular price there. If you use the Europe 5 code at checkout, you'll receive an even further discount for this amazing trip. Departure dates for this one start from August this year right through to November 2023. All right, we're going to move on to our next destination now, one that's very different than obviously down there in the south of Spain or in Morocco. We're going to head up north, up to Scandinavia and the Arctic. An incredible location, very, very different style of travel, I guess, to what we've just looked at. Now, with this particular one, Norway has a fantastic destination because you can go there any time of the year. It's got something to offer pretty much throughout the year, so pretty unique in that sense. Winter is just as popular as summer. We're going to have a look now at some of the best times to travel to Norway and why.
Norway is impossibly beautiful. With some of the most dramatic scenery on earth, it is truly a nature lover's paradise. But when is the best time to go? When it comes to breathtaking scenery, modern fun cities, warm and friendly locals, and a mind-boggling Viking history, Norway ticks all the boxes. Blessed with staggering fjords, imposing peaks, grand glaciers, and astonishing Arctic wonders, Norway is a picture postcard adventure playground. And the Norwegians themselves are just as fun, with a warm, hospitable and sophisticated culture and a passion for food, festivals and innovation. You'll love spending time with them in the photogenic cities and villages around the country. Norway's landscapes can be just as incredible in the winter as the summer, and both seasons have equal merit. Winter is an amazing season to experience Norway. The northern lights dance in the sky, Christmas is celebrated with festive lights and markets, the lakes freeze, most of the north is blanketed in white snow and ice, and all kinds of winter activities are on offer, from snowshoeing to skiing, dog sledding and snowmobiling. The Arctic landscapes around Tromsø and Honningsvåg, the northernmost city in Norway, remind you that you're at the end of the world and are some of the best locations to witness the northern lights. Winter can create a peak travel period in the north of the country, but for the south, the very short days and weather do mean it's low season. The cities of Trondheim and Oslo are still bustling and welcoming, but it is bitterly cold and many services and locations are reduced outside of the towns. The bonus is that you won't be battling many other tourists. Up north above the Arctic Circle, Tromsø and Honningsvåg will average around -1 degree during winter, but temperatures of course can plummet much below that. Trondheim and Oslo will hover around 0 degrees at this time of the year, and of course the hours of sunlight in the day are at their lowest. Norway is.
Okay, so we are going to be focusing on the winter season. They are the trips that we have available. Two of our absolute favourites. You're going to see some very close similarities between our 17-day and 20-day. We'll go through the 17-day one and then I'll show you the differences with the 20. So it's going to start down in Helsinki, 2 nights down there. So from there, we're actually going to head across to Estonia and head into the walled historic city of Tallinn as a day trip, back up to Helsinki, before we board a train from Helsinki to Kemi. Now this train, probably the greatest named train journey in the world. It is called the Santa Claus Express. It is an overnight journey taking you right up to the edges of Lapland. And we're going to arrive in Kemi, which we'll have a look at in a moment for some incredible activities that you get to do there. Rovaniemi is the home of Santa Claus. We'll have a look at that. We're going to spend a couple of nights there exploring the region as well. Up into Saraselka, where one of the most amazing accommodation experiences that you'll ever get to participate in. It takes place in Saraselka. Honningsvåg, right up to the most northerly point of Europe before we round the top of Norway and start heading down the coast through Alta, Tromsø, and then actually down near the Lofoten Island archipelago there as well. Then going to fly down to Oslo where that trip does conclude. Now, if you do want to experience the southern fjords of Norway, the 20-day trip gets to do all of what we just saw, plus you also then get to experience Oslo plus Flam and Bergen and do some amazing travel through those southern fjords down the bottom there. Now, let's have a look at some of the sightseeing. This is all about the winter experiences and the northern lights. As I said, you get to do that train journey, the Santa Claus Express up to Kemi, and you're welcomed with this incredible experience here. You'll board an icebreaker. You'll head out onto the frozen harbour, which is an amazing experience. And then for those that are daring enough, this is an included option. So if you want to do it, you can. It's there. It's available for you to do. You can don a dry suit. Now, this is different to a wetsuit. A dry suit does keep you completely dry inside. But nonetheless, it's still going to be a fairly chilly experience as you have a dip in the Arctic waters. Obviously all done with the care and safety of the crew around you. So a fantastic way to start the journey. And as I said, it's all about the Northern Lights, this particular itinerary. What I like about it is it gives you 11 nights above the Arctic Circle. So the Arctic Circle is that imaginary line, which essentially gives you the best opportunity to see the Northern Lights overhead. It's where they are most active, and having 11 nights above the Arctic Circle gives you the most opportunities for the skies to be clear and obviously have an opportunity to see something like that picture there. I mentioned Rovaniemi. Everyone likes reliving parts of their childhood. Home of Santa Claus. Obviously, very, very important place to visit when you are up near Lapland. And here we do go to Santa's village and obviously have that Christmas experience, where it's Christmas year round. But being there, obviously, in the winter months is, I guess, the perfect welcome to Santa's village, where we expect it to be snowy and cold outside. So an amazing opportunity to go and visit in Rovaniemi. This is what I was talking about, the accommodation. So this is in Saraselka. We're going to do probably the most unique hotel experience that there is to offer, which is staying in a glass igloo. Now that sounds incredibly primitive. It couldn't be more further from the truth. Very, very comfortable, ensuite bathrooms, exceptionally well appointed, heated, which is most important. And what I love about it is these glass domes actually are above you as you lie in bed. They are electronically heated, so they never fog up, so you've always got a clear view of the skies above, and allows you to lie in bed, hopefully seeing the aurora lights dancing overhead. While we're here, we're going to head out on a husky safari. So this is going to happen while we're at the glass igloo experience. The dogs, you can just see them there, is a nighttime experience. You're going to head out into the Arctic wilderness pulled by the huskies on a sled. Obviously looking for the northern lights once again. As we dash through the wilderness, you're going to arrive at a set-up area where there's a nice roaring fire, hot drinks obviously prepared to warm you back up. It does include specialised clothing for this experience as well, so obviously nice and warm on the sled, and then they'll bring you back where you can have that incredible glass igloo experience. The highlights continue. So mentioned before, we go up to Koningsberg, or North Cape is the point up there, the most northerly point in Europe. Sits high, about 300 metres up on the edge of this cliff as you look out the Arctic Ocean. And while we're there, we're going to toast the experience. So this is a celebration of reaching that most northerly point with some sparkling wine and some local caviar that we get to enjoy to, I guess, celebrate the time that we reach the tip before we start heading back south. So this is, as we begin south down the coast of Norway, you've got Tromsø included in there as well. So Tromsø is known as the city of the Northern Lights, has the Northern Lights visible the most nights out of anywhere else in the world. After we've left Tromsø, we're going to go to the Lofoten Islands, an amazing archipelago of islands. This is where we get to see those incredible glacier-carved fjords rising out of the ocean, and those really iconic fishing huts that are so synonymous with this part of the world. For those people that want to do the extension, so this is the 20-day version of the trip after we finished in Oslo. If you're wanting to go and do the southern fjord region there, highly recommended. We bought a train from Oslo, heading out to Flam, where we stay one night. Flam is this tiny, tiny little town buried deep in the Norwegian fjords, incredibly picturesque. As part of the journey, we're going to do the Flam Railway. Again, a really, really iconic stretch of rail where it actually comes and carves its way down from the tops of these fjords right down to the valley floor below. A really amazing feat of engineering for the time that it was built. And then when we're at Flam, as I said, we overnight there before boarding a cruise the next day, and that's going to take us through the fjords, finishing in Bergen. Bergen is this incredibly picturesque little village. It's a UNESCO fishing port. It's stunning. The buildings there are a true representation of the port itself. And what I loved about Bergen, incredibly pedestrian friendly. You can walk around the city quite easily in a matter of hours. And I do recommend for those people that are wanting to explore themselves, grab one of the shared bikes that are around everywhere in the city. Jump on a bike, it's incredibly flat, and experience the city pedaling. When you are down at the port, it is a fishing town, so all the seafood's bought in that day. It's down at the port. You can go and select what you want to eat. They cook it right there on the wharf, and then you can have a lovely lunch or dinner out by the water's edge. What is included with this one? So it's all about those winter experiences, everything we've spoken about. The husky sleds are in there, the icebreaker, the glass igloos are in there as well. Obviously, so much opportunity to see the Northern Lights themselves is included as part of this amazing trip. What I like about this one, it's small group. So this is a fully escorted, so the guide, once again, is with you from start to finish. For those people doing the 20-day depart from Oslo to Bergen, is self-guided. Couldn't be an easier experience. It's fully laid out. It's the most popular route in Norway. Very, very easy to navigate. But for those doing the 17-day, escorted from the start right to the very end, and it's only up to 24 people. So a really intimate way of experiencing these incredible countries. Hotels are all 4 stars, so great standard of accommodation. They're right in the centre of the city. It's very, very easy to head out and experience everything that these places have to offer. You've got your Santa Claus Express rail journey in there as well, the icebreaker cruise that we've mentioned. Daily breakfast is included with this one, and you've also got 5 dinners throughout as well. and dedicated coach transportation, of course. Now, if you are wanting to participate in either of these two trips, the 17-day one starts from $7,999 for that small group experiences with all those amazing inclusions. The extended option, $8,999 for those people wanting to go down to see the fjords in Bergen. It comes with that incredible offer that we spoke about before with Spain, Portugal and Morocco, which is our 2-for-1 airfares. So 2 people go, you only pay for the cost of 1 flight, and it's about a $1,700 savings per couple. The Europe 5 discount still applies with these 2 trips as well. So that comes off the total cost if you do use that code at checkout. Okay, so we're continuing our Arctic and Scandinavia experiences, heading more over into the Arctic now. So we're going to head over to Iceland. Iceland, we have an amazing 12-day small group Iceland complete experience. Now, I'm going to apologise. You will see here that some of these names have almost every letter in the alphabet. Very, very difficult to pronounce. We're going to have a look at some of those in a moment and actually how to pronounce these in Icelandic. But this one begins in Reykjavik, finishes in Reykjavik as well, and you're going to do a full circumnavigation of Iceland. Now, for us Australians, it's actually a very small distance. It's only about 1,300 kilometres, so really just a blink of the eye in terms of travel for us. But nonetheless, it's packed with incredible sightseeing, mostly about the geological activity in these locations. It's obviously home to some of the highest densities of volcanoes in the world, and it's carved out this amazing experience that you're going to see. Now we're going to begin, obviously in Reykjavik. Reykjavik is an amazing little city, and I use that word city fairly lightly. For us, it's probably considered to be a town. Maximum amount of people, about 120,000 people live in Reykjavik itself. Only about 300,000 people live in Iceland, so it is home to the majority of the population. And while you're here, one recommendation I do have is go visit the Reykjavik Cathedral. It sits right in the middle of the city. Very, very easy to walk to and access. It's not an old building by any stretch of the imagination, built roughly in the 80s. It is this incredible architecture, though, that makes it so special. It looks like a giant sword rising out of the ground. It's over 250 feet tall from the base here to the top. You can go right up to the top if you wish. There's tours available when you get there, but I just recommend just going in and experiencing the architecture once you're inside. It is quite breathtaking. Now we're going to head to Snæfellsnes Peninsula, is how that one's pronounced. Now this is known as the mini Iceland, and the reason why they say that is it's home to essentially all the attractions that make Iceland so special. So here you've got those incredible volcanoes, you've got the black sand beaches, you've got these basalt cliff lines, which is incredible, lava tunnels, and an amazing array of local wildlife as well, especially the bird life. So an incredible place to visit once you're there. For those readers out there and for those people obviously familiar with it, obviously one of the most famous authors of all time, Jules Verne, he actually took inspiration from this location. So this is where the theme for Journey to the Centre of the Earth came from. And it was actually at one of the entrances to one of the lava tunnels. He saw that as the entrance to the centre of the Earth. So while we're here, for those people that are wanting to experience Vernian mythology, we can actually head into one of those lava tunnels as well, carved out by volcanic activity, obviously extinct now, so very safe to enter, but an amazing experience nonetheless to see how the lava formed underground. Now, we're going to continue heading up, right up to the Western Fjords region, so up the west coast. To get there, though, we're actually going to board a ferry. So this is the Boulder Ferry. It's a great way to get to the north. The reason why, it gets you out onto the water, and you can actually see that incredible coastline as you sail past. Once we arrive up into West Fjords, we're actually going to experience a place known as Bird Cliff. Very aptly named, one of the highest densities of bird populations or roosting locations in Europe, but also in the world. It's about 14 kilometres long. It's home to a wide range of birds, razorbills and cormorants. For most people, the highlight of going to this location is those incredible puffins that you can see there. So obviously with their bright coloration of their beaks. We're going to do a cliff walk, very, very easy for all levels of fitness to allow you to see, obviously, those birds as close as possible. Continuing to the north, so now we're right in the northern part, we're going to Akureyri. Akureyri is known as the northern capital of Iceland. Outside of Reykjavik, it is the largest inhabited town in the region and an incredible place to base yourself to go and witness some of the locations around the area. Now, one of them is Godafoss Falls. Godafoss Falls hasn't always been named Godafoss Falls. So what actually happened about 1000 AD, there was they call it like a meeting, a parliamentary meeting. So these guys had parliamentary meetings in 1000 AD to talk about all things important for Iceland. Probably did a better job than we do these days. And so right here, all these local members, influence, priests came into this to talk about what this threat was that was coming from Europe. At the time, Iceland was home to a wide range of pagan beliefs, also a lot of mythological beliefs, which a lot still actually remain today. They are very, very deeply entrenched in the Icelandic culture. There is some beliefs behind some obviously iconic myths of the region. But one of the priests had a vision. He saw that Iceland was potentially going to be invaded by the Christianity coming over from the mainland of Europe. What he decided was it was going to be in Iceland's interest to convert to Christianity at the time. So much so that he went back north and he took all of the pagan idols with him and he actually tossed them into the water down below. Ever since then, it's been known as Godafoss Falls. Obviously, God waterfalls is how that roughly translates. And that's the reason why it's got its name today. The other thing we're going to do in Akureyri is head out and do some whale watching. It's pretty much home to different types of whales at different types of year. You've got your minke whales and your humpback whales coming in at different seasons, which is fantastic. Head out onto the water, hopefully to experience some of the incredible wildlife. Now we're on the west coast. We're going to head down to one of the largest national parks, not only in Iceland, but in terms of, I guess, the scale of the park in relation to the size of the country, covers an amazing 14% of the entire country. Here we're going to get up close to some of the glaciers in that region. But also while we're on the west coast and as we're continuing down to the south, you're going to come across these incredible black sand beaches. The black sand beaches are almost unique to Iceland. You do find them in some other parts of the world, but very, very prolific in this part. Actually formed by lava hitting the water and cooling so rapidly that it almost explodes. It shatters into little pieces and it forms these incredible black sand beaches. And what is amazing about them is just the coloration that the black has against obviously the white waves. Now, if you're wanting to experience this particular trip, as I said, it is a full circumnavigation of the island itself. It's all about the outdoors. It's all about the geological activity. It's the geysers, it's the volcanoes, it's the wildlife, it's those incredible coastlines. It's fully escorted. Again, start to finish, arrive in Reykjavik, guides with you, finish in Reykjavik, the guide fares well to you. Only 20 people on this particular trip, so a great small group experience. Quality accommodation, once again, 3 to 4 star throughout. Pretty much the best standard of accommodation that there is to offer. Some of these locations are very, very remote, very, very small. So the accommodation is well placed and obviously of that 3 to 4 star standard. Breakfast daily and pretty much all your dinners. Not quite all of them, but very, very close. So you've only really got to look after lunch during these ones. And obviously there's plenty of opportunities along the way. And that dedicated coach transportation is with you from start to finish as well. Now this one here starts from $8,999 for this 12-day trip. Again, it's got the 2-for-1 airfares. This is even better value. Airfares to Iceland, upwards of $2,000 per person. You're only paying for the cost of one of those flights. You've got the additional 5% discount there by using that Europe 5 code, which again comes off this total price as well. So use that code at checkout to receive an even further discount. Now this one's available from this year. So June this year through to September this year, they are the best months of travel. They're the summer months. And so obviously if you're going to go around Iceland, especially to see some of these outdoor regions, these are the months to be in. It's open, it's ready for you. So definitely put Iceland on your bucket list.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul and I'm a product manager here at Inspiring Vacations. Now today I'm really excited to talk to you about our range of trips in Turkey and Greece. Now obviously these destinations are steeped in history, they are full of ancient ruins and historic sites, and there is something for everyone in these two destinations. I'm just going to start with a short video from one of our tour leaders who's on the ground in Istanbul. Now, this is Europe's largest city. So through this video, hopefully you get a bit of an understanding of what life is like in this bustling metropolis.
Hello, my name is Tolga. I've been tour guiding over 10 years in Turkey, Istanbul, 2 continents together. Just behind me you can see the Bosphorus Bridge, and then we are standing on the European side. If you look at the right side of it over there, you can see the Asian side. We are in the old city of Istanbul, and there are many reasons to visit Istanbul, such as food, like traveling, like historical sites, like a landmark like behind me, you can see the Hagia Sophia. Hagia Sophia was built in 6th century AD by Justinianus. We are standing on one of the gates of the spice market, which is one of the landmarks of Istanbul. There are many spices, herbs, and teas you can find in the market. Istanbul is really famous with all the cats as well. I love my job because I love meeting with the people from different countries and different culture, and I'm passionate to traveling as well.
Okay, so Istanbul is where we start on the first tour that I want to run through with you today. So this is one of our most popular tours globally, and it is our 16-day Antiquities of Turkey and Gulet Cruise tour. Now, this tour is perfect for the first-time traveller to Turkey. It really encapsulates all that Turkey has to offer in a nice circumnavigation of the country. Starting in Istanbul, we'll spend 2 nights here in a 5-star property located right in the heart of the old town. So here we explore some of the ancient sites and the historic monuments that Istanbul is so famous for. We'll visit the Hagia Sophia, we'll visit the Blue Mosque, and of course the Grand Bazaar. From here, we'll fly across into the central Turkey and visit the Cappadocia region. Now, this region is so iconic. It is so Instagrammable. It is absolutely stunning. So we have 3 nights here to fully explore this region. We'll visit underground cities. You'll have the chance to get up into a hot air balloon as well and see it from the sky. So this really lunar landscape is absolutely incredible. And we spend the 3 nights here in a cave hotel. So it really is a memorable part of your journey. From here, we'll travel down to Konya and then spend 1 night in Antalya, down on the turquoise coast, on the Aegean Sea there. And then we travel across to Fethiye, where we'll board one of the other highlights of this journey, which is our 3-night Gulet cruise on a traditional Turkish wooden boat. So this is a very unique experience. We'll get into the small little bays and coves of the Turkish Riviera. You'll get to spend all that time on this boat that is just reserved for our group. So it's a great chance to get to know your group and really have a beautiful time out there on the Turkish Riviera. When we get back onto dry land, we'll travel up to Marmaris and then spend a night in Pamukkale. So this is where we'll visit the Travertines, a really beautiful part of Turkey, before we travel across to Kusadasi. So we use Kusadasi as a base to explore Ephesus, which is one of the most important ancient sites in the world. From here, we'll travel up to Troy and see the famous wooden horse before spending a night in Çanakkale. So from here, we'll travel to the Gallipoli Peninsula and we'll pay our respects to the Anzacs before spending 1 more night in Istanbul, where we'll get to see some of those little things that we didn't see on our first time round. So it's a really all-encompassing journey of Turkey, and it is incredible value, which you'll see soon. So some of the sightseeing highlights that we'll get to visit on this journey, of course, Istanbul. So here on the left here, you'll see Sultanahmet Old Town, and taking pride in place on the hill there is the Blue Mosque. So we'll get to visit inside the Blue Mosque and see the beautiful blue tiles that make this mosque so famous. Just out of picture there is the Hagia Sophia, so we'll also visit that, a very important site in Istanbul. And of course, the Grand Bazaar, the Hippodrome, just to name a few. On the right here is the Grand Bazaar. So when you enter the Grand Bazaar, you're just blown away by the smells and the sights, and it really is a great place to see what Turkish life is like, and it's a really memorable experience to visit. In Cappadocia, so as you can see here, the hot air balloons, what an iconic shot. Absolutely stunning. So you do have the opportunity to get up into a hot air balloon if the weather is right. So your tour leader can organise for that for you on the ground. Otherwise, we'll travel underground and we'll visit some of the many underground cities that Cappadocia is famous for. We'll also have a whirling dervish ceremony here, which is a real Turkish experience, and a couple of other little surprises along the way. And as you can see on the right here, the fairy chimneys of Cappadocia are absolutely incredible. So we'll wander through there and really explore this region. Now, on the left here is the traditional Turkish gullet boat that I was mentioning earlier. So we'll spend 3 nights on this boat, reserved just for our small group. So we really get up close to the turquoise coast, up to these little fishing villages. The water is absolutely pristine. So on those hot days, you get to have a dip straight off the boat and laze the days away on the deck, reading your book and really enjoying yourself. And of course, we'll visit Anzac Cove and pay our respects to the Anzacs. Now, everything that I've just mentioned is included in this tour, so all of that sightseeing, so it is incredible value. There is so much to see in Turkey, and this trip really ticks off all of those bucket list items for you. Now, one of my favourite things about this tour is it is a small group tour. So there's only 14 guests on this trip, plus your tour leader. So you really get to know your other guests, you really get to know your tour leader and have the opportunity to ask all those questions that you might have. Now, the accommodation standard as well, it's 12 nights in 5-star and boutique accommodation. So we've spared no expense for the accommodation, and of course you've got the 3 nights in that spectacular cave hotel. Now, the cave hotel is not what you might think. It is very well appointed, it is luxurious, and it is one of the most iconic and memorable stays you'll ever have in a hotel around the world. And of course, we've got the 3-night sailing on the Gullet. So the accommodation is a real highlight of this tour. Most of your meals are included. So you've got daily breakfast, which just takes the stress out of waking up in the morning and trying to find your first feed. And then 11 lunches and 8 dinners. As we all know, Turkish food is absolutely delicious. So you really get to experience that throughout the journey. And all of this is fully escorted by a professional tour leader, one of those who you met earlier in this presentation. So they are experts on the ground. They will get to answer any of your questions you might have as you're exploring some of these ancient sites throughout Turkey. Now, for those of you who might like to visit Turkey and also check out the Greek islands, this is the trip for you. So essentially, it's the same tour starting in Istanbul, travelling through Turkey. You'll just leave the group a couple of days early in Kusadasi. You'll board a Greek island cruise for 5 nights, pictured here. So we travel with Celestial Cruises. So this is a Greek cruise line, and the ships are a little bit smaller than your average cruise line. So it's a really intimate sort of experience. There's unlimited drinks included on board, all your meals. So it's a really luxurious way to travel through the Greek islands. And you'll visit all of the highlight islands. You'll visit Rhodes, Crete, Santorini, of course, Mykonos. No visit to Greece is complete without a visit to Mykonos. And we'll see the volcanic cliffs of Milos before finishing up in Athens. So it's a really nice little add-on to our Turkey tour. Some of the places you'll see along the way, so of course more ancient ruins throughout Greece. We'll visit those in Crete. You'll get to visit the cobblestone streets of Santorini. So obviously Santorini is one of the most iconic parts of the world, so you'll get to spend a fair bit of time there exploring. Back on board after a long day of sightseeing, there's so much to do on these Celestial cruise ships. There's multiple restaurants. As I mentioned, all your food and meals are included, and unlimited drinks. So there certainly is no shortage of food and drink options on board this cruise. At night, there's entertainment galore. There's little bars, there's pianos, there's shows on board. So there really is something for everyone, or you can just retire to your well-appointed cabin at the end of the day. Now, the offers that we have for you today for the 16-day Antiquities of Turkey with Gullet Cruise, this starts at only $4,999 per person. The 19-day Antiquities of Turkey with the Greek island extension starts from $6,499 per person. Now, some of the other offers that we have for you today is the 2-for-1 airfares. So you can fly from here all the way to Turkey and back, and you'll only pay for one of your airfares. So that is a saving of about $1,500 per couple. We also have, as a thank you for attending our event today, is an additional 5% discount. So if you use the code Europe5 at checkout, we'll give you an extra 5% off for joining us today. Okay, now so for those of you who perhaps have been to Turkey or really want to explore Greece in a little bit more depth, this is the journey for you, our 15-day classic Greece and Ireland cruise. So starting in Athens, we have 2 nights there and we travel up to Olympia where we explore and learn about the origins of the Olympic Games before heading up to Delphi where we visit the Temple of Apollo. So this is, if not the most important site in ancient Greek mythology, it is once known as the centre of the earth, so you'll get to visit here and learn about its significance. From here, we'll visit Kalambaka and we'll use this as a base to explore the monasteries of Meteora. So these monasteries are clinging to the cliff tops. They are gravity defying. It is absolutely stunning. So we get to really explore this region before heading back to Athens for a couple of nights. And then we board our 7-night Greek island cruise. So this cruise is also with Celestial, who I was mentioning earlier. It is the same cruise, you'll just pick it up a couple of days early in Athens. So you'll visit Thessaloniki, a beautiful coastal port there, before we head into Ephesus. And for those of you who perhaps have been to Turkey before, or you just want to have a little taste of it, from Ephesus, we have multiple shore excursions on offer. So you can actually travel up to Istanbul on a day tour from here. We then go to Rhodes, Crete, Santorini, and all those Greek islands that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so some of the incredible sightseeing that you get to explore on this tour. Obviously, the Acropolis in Athens, one of the most famous ancient sites in the world, with the Parthenon taking pride and place, looming above the city of Athens. So we'll get to visit there. We'll also visit Delphi, which the Temple of Apollo pictured here, one of the most important ancient sites in ancient Greece. And the monasteries of Meteora, as you can see here from this image, they are literally clinging to the cliff tops. So it is such a spectacular place to visit. We'll spend a day here with your local Greek guide exploring these monasteries and learning about how they came to be in this vertiginous location. And of course, the cobblestone streets of Mykonos, absolutely breathtaking. We'll spend a full day here exploring. There's multiple shore excursions on offer, or you can just explore at your own pace, go down to the wharf and try some of the famous seafood that Greece is so well known for. Okay, included in this tour, all of that incredible sightseeing that I just mentioned. We've got 7 nights in comfortable and boutique Greek accommodation throughout the land journey. And then you've got those 7 beautiful nights cruising the Greek islands on your Celestial cruise with the unlimited drinks and the unlimited meals included. 30 meals included across this tour, so you definitely don't go wanting for food. You've got daily breakfast and your 6 lunches and your 10 dinners, and this is partially escorted by a professional tour leader. So the offer we have for you today on this trip, all of those inclusions that I just mentioned, starting at only $4,399 per person. So that is incredible value, as I'm sure you can see. We've also got the 2-for-1 airfare, so fly from here to Athens and back and you'll only pay for one of your airfares. Again, a saving of about $1,500 per couple. And then you've...
Okay guys, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, if you would like to take advantage of any of these offers that you saw today, really simple booking process. So all the offers today are strictly for a limited time. You are going to get the best price in market. So with that 5% discount included there, you're guaranteed to get the best price. Plus you've got the 2-for-1 airfares in there. What we love about this one is all of these tours come with 120-day free date change flexibility. No questions asked. You can change your dates up until 120 days prior to your departure, should you wish to push it out to a future date. Deposits all start from $99 per person to lock in this particular offer. It's a really simple booking process. So you'll follow the book now steps. It will ask you if you've got a coupon code. You can enter that Europe 5 discount code at checkout. Our agents are available on the phone, so if you do want to make a booking over the phone, we are open tonight until 9 p.m. Simply call 1300 886688 and our agents will be able to take that booking for you. If you'd prefer to book online, it's a really quick and easy process. Head to our website, you'll see Europe on sale there on our homepage. Click on that banner and you'll find all those incredible offers that we just spoke through just before. Follow the book now prompts, select your particular departure date, make sure you enter that coupon code Europe5, simple $99 payment and your trip is locked in with that incredible 2-for-1 airfare offer as well. Now, if you do want to change your mind after you've made that $99 deposit, they all come with a 7-day cooling off, no questions asked, where you can get a refund of your $99 if you wish to not go ahead. If you've got any questions, obviously pick up the phone, call us. We're on chat. Also head to our website. We've got a chat function on there. Happy to answer any questions. The offers will be available throughout the week, so do make sure that you come back and lock in that particular date of departure that you're looking for. And as I said, take that extra 5% off now and take advantage of a fantastic price holiday. Thank you once again. We look forward to seeing you at our next event.